Imagine you're in the ecological reserve of Buenos Aires with your friend. The sun is shining, there's a gentle breeze, it is a lovely spring day in October, and you and your friend are meditating under a big blossom tree. A few minutes into your meditation, you hear a scuffling in front of you. You're trying to ignore it and just observe it because, you know, you're trying to stay zen. But then suddenly it crosses your mind that it might be a literal thief trying to steal your stuff. So you slightly open your eyes and suddenly you see two massive crocodile, dragon, dinosaur things mating in front of you. I have never seen anything like it in my life, and it was in that moment that I remembered I'm not in England anymore. That, my friends, is one of the beauties of living in Buenos Aires. So many cool experiences, and I'm going to tell you why I love this city. Hey there guys, and welcome back to UnJaded Jade. If you don't know who I am, hi, my name is Jade. I'm studying a cognitive science degree at a wonderful university called Minerva, where I'm lucky enough to study abroad in a different country every semester. And for 4 months, I am in Buenos Aires. And guys, I love this city. Today, I'm just going to tell you why I love it here. I'm going to tell you some of the experiences I've had, some of the cool things that I've been able to do, people I've met, to hopefully inspire you to come to Argentina. Before we dive in, it's really important for me to say that I've only been to Buenos Aires. This is not representative of the whole of Argentina, although I am going to Iguazu, the big waterfall, next week, and hopefully you can go to Patagonia. Buenos Aires is also huge. Like, as an area, it is absolutely massive. So I have not explored it all by any means, so my whole experience is based on the areas that I've been to. Number 3, this is all my perception. I'm an outsider, I've only lived here for 2 months so far. I am scratching the surface of the city. I'm not an expert by any means, especially in things like history, politics, and economics, of course. And I'm not fluent in Spanish, so I think that really limits my ability to really get to know the city, to really get to know locals. But today I'm going to tell you why I love the city, some culture shocks I've experienced, and especially if you're one of my friends who believes that Latin America is dangerous or scary or inaccessible, which is a common sentiment that I've heard from people I know in the UK, like, oh my god, you know, don't go to South America alone, like it's super dangerous. I hope that my experience here will give you some nuance and maybe inspire you to travel to Buenos Aires. Number 1, something I have noticed through speaking to locals and just learning about the city is people really value education. Everyone just seems so passionate about learning, which I absolutely love. Universities in Argentina are free and they're also so high quality. Like, the education in universities like UBA, University of Buenos Aires, is amazing. A lot of students from around Latin America come here to study. Like, I've met so many Brazilian students studying medicine. What's interesting is that the average person you meet tends to have very educated feeling opinions on politics. Like, you're just speaking to a taxi driver and they seem so knowledgeable on history and politics. So yeah, that's just my perception. People seem to care a lot about education. I just think it's very cool. Number 2, on a similar wavelength, Buenos Aires has so many bookshops. I heard somewhere that Buenos Aires has more bookshops per inhabitant than any other city in the world. They even have one of the most beautiful bookshops I've ever seen in my life, which is a theatre, like a literal gorgeous theatre that has been converted into a bookshop. It's called El Ateneo, you should visit it. Of course, most of the books are in Spanish, so I can't always buy them, but I just love the atmosphere of bookshops. Number 3, the nightlife. I'm a grandma. I am not a big party person at all, but this city has made me let loose a little bit. I've actually been going for nights out. Who is she? I don't know her. And I just love, like, the Latin American music, the beat, like reggaeton style music is so fun, and people in clubs are so, like, I mean, they just dance. I feel like often in England I'll go to a club and people will be like trying so hard to look cool, you know? But here, like, people just enjoy themselves, feel the music, dance, like, get strangers and everyone's like grinding on the floor, and I'm like, wow, this is actually very fun. But one thing I can't stand is how late everything is. Like, clubs here open at 1, like start to get busy at 2. So if you do go for a night out, you literally have to come back. Like, an early night would be coming back at 5 a.m. and I just can't hack that. Also, dinner culture is so late. Like, people will have dinner at 10 p.m. Or my friend who goes to high school goes to high school from 5 p.m. till 10 p.m. Like, she's literally sitting in a classroom at 10 p.m. It kills me. I'm a morning person proudly, and yeah, don't love that about this city, but the nightlife I do appreciate is really fun. Number 4, Buenos Aires is a very, very cheap city for me, for like foreigners. The economic situation here is really not great. They have insane inflation rates. Like, the exchange rate changes so much across even 1 week. But one positive for us is they have this thing called the blue dollar exchange rate. So there's an official exchange rate, and then there's this blue dollar rate. And this blue dollar rate means that your money is worth like 5 times the amount. I can get a full amazing meal for like $3. Public transport costs like 10p. It's just so affordable, which means, especially as a student, you can live a very high quality of life. And I think it's really important to mention the flip side of this, because everyone online is always like, oh my god, this place is so cheap, like, go to Bali, it's so cheap, like, go to these places, it's so cheap, without recognizing the flip side of when things are so cheap, it's often because the economy is really not doing very well, or the currency is valued really low, which is like great for you as a foreigner, but really bad for like everyone else who actually lives here. So it is a weird situation, because you feel very privileged and everything feels so cheap, but for people here, it's really not cheap. Like, their money is constantly being valued so much less, and the friends that I've made here don't think of things as affordable and have had to cut back a lot. So yeah, it's a weird one. As a foreigner, it's great. If you live here, it's like pretty bad. Number 5, I absolutely love the ecological reserve, the nature reserve. That's where I saw these massive tegu dragon creatures. Buenos Aires is a port city. People here call themselves porteños, which means like people of the port, which means there's a lot of water. So around the nature reserve, you can just look across the river to Uruguay and be like, oh look, hey, there's Uruguay over there. How crazy is that? Number 6, the architecture. Wow. So I live in Retiro, which is like a very hectic, busy area. It's not my favorite area of Buenos Aires, but the architecture is stunning. A lot of European influence. You're walking around and you're like, am I in Madrid? Am I in Paris? Am I in Milan? You know, there's all these influences here in a way that it sometimes doesn't feel like you're in Latin America. They have this really famous cemetery called Recoleta Cemetery, where a lot of important figures in Argentinian history have been buried, like Eva Perón, who's the first lady of Argentina. She's buried there. And the architecture of these graves is stunning, unlike anything I've ever witnessed in a graveyard. So if you like cool buildings, it's a great place to come to. Number 7, people here love Dua Lipa. They are my people. Like, guys, you will not go to a cafe and not hear minimum 3 songs played by Dua Lipa, like sung by Dua Lipa, in your time there. Like, you will just always hear some Dua Lipa songs, which personally I am here for. I'm gonna bop to it. But I'm just in awe. Dua Lipa actually came to perform here in my first month in Buenos Aires, and I want to marry that woman, so of course I went. And the crowd was so intense, like in the best way. It was actually hilarious, because anytime Dua Lipa said anything in Spanish, the crowd would go crazy. She'd be like, hola, Buenos Aires. And everyone would be like, ah. She'd be like, gracias. And everyone would be like, oh my god, Espanol. Like, the bar was so low for Dua Lipa to impress people here. Me and my friends kept joking that every time she would go off and do a costume change, she would like memorize her next line of Spanish and then come out and say it and impress everyone. But yeah, another reason to relate to the porteños. Number 8, super obvious, but the weather. It's very strange being in October and experiencing sunny spring, but I'm here for it. I do love autumn, of course, but I like autumn in doses, and I like autumn as an aesthetic. But when it starts to get really dark and miserable, I would 100% pick this anytime. I've just noticed my mood being so much more positive. I just want to get out of bed in the morning because the sun is like shining on me. Right now it's about 22 degrees every day, and we're coming into summer, so it could get up to 30 degrees every day. Crazy. Number 9, the pace of life. Generally, this city is so relaxed and chill and happy, and It feels like people have a great work-life balance. They know how to, you know, enjoy themselves, go party or go to a cafe and just take their time and watch the world go by. On Sundays, I love going to markets in San Telmo or Recoleta, and there'll be people performing tango on the streets, people just chilling, eating food. One of my favorite areas is also Palermo, which is, it's kind of more an expat area, not gonna lie, but it's very green, very like vibey and cool. It reminds me of Berlin a lot, and it's just super chill. Like, lovely to go there and just decompress. Number 10 is the people. People are so kind. If you're lost, they're gonna help you. If you're struggling with Spanish but trying your best to speak it, they're gonna help you, and they're gonna be grateful that you're trying. People are very kissy, which is interesting because I'm British, so like, you know, we don't really do that. Like, people will greet you with a strong kiss on the cheek, so that's interesting. Yeah, taxi drivers are so energetic and charismatic and like want to talk to you about life here. It just feels like people have time for you, people are interested in you, and that's really cool. Some cities don't have that vibe. Number 11, it is surprisingly vegan friendly. I had low expectations. I've lived in Korea, that was really hard, but especially areas like Palermo are so vegan friendly, and I've been so surprised how menus will frequently have a vegan section or vegan labeling. It's just easy. It's easy to be vegan here, and then especially because of how cheap everything is, like, life is just good. You can eat well. Number 12, safety. Now this is a surprising one. Something I love about Buenos Aires is that I feel safe here. When I told my mum, oh, I'm moving to Argentina, I think just a lot of people, including her, have this bias that being in South America is really scary and you've got to be super careful all the time. And of course you do, but I would not say more than in like New York. Like, honestly, if someone told me they're going to New York, I'd be like, watch your stuff, you're gonna get robbed. But yeah, as long as you don't take risks, you don't go out alone at night, you don't flash your money stupidly, basic things, then it's fine, it's great. Maybe it's also my area. I appreciate there's other areas that are less safe, but I would not let safety deter you from visiting the city. Like, even as a solo traveler, I would feel very comfortable here, as long as I knew the areas not to go to. Number 13, it is such a healthy and active city. People are always running, doing yoga, doing sports in the park. They do group exercises, like group workouts. People in this area, they just all look like fit and healthy, which inspires you to also be fit and healthy. And then when the weather's so nice, you just want to get out and exercise. Number 14, people are so passionate about football, which honestly, like, I don't care about football, I'm not gonna lie, but something that I'm really excited about in Buenos Aires is the World Cup. The World Cup is happening in like November, December time, right? And I have heard that the city is going to be transformed, so I'm very excited about that. And finally, number 15 is people's love of dance. Like, yes, not everyone's gonna love dance, sure, but generally as a city, I'm so surprised by the availability of tango classes, bachata classes, salsa classes. My friend in high school, they're doing tango like as part of their school. You go to San Telmo and there literally will be people just dancing on the street. I went to the Tango World Final and people in the crowd will also just get up and start dancing. It's so nice. So yes, that is my review of Buenos Aires, having lived here for just over 2 months. I love it. I don't want to leave. I love my life here. I'm also living in the dreamiest apartment I think I'll ever live in my life, because who gets a view like this? It's just crazy. Please visit it if you can. I can't wait to continue exploring it more. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know all your little recommendations. If there's somewhere I haven't been that I should go, especially like secret or hidden spots, let me know. Have an amazing rest of your day. My casual magic for today is... So I woke up feeling very overthinking and just doubtful and not in a good mood at all. So instead of jumping into university work, I took 10 minutes to do a meditation and sat with all these feelings and tried to embrace them and accept them. And I felt a shift having done that. So yeah, I think that's my casual magic, is just the quiet and stillness of a good meditation. Anyway, have a good one. Bye!